Chuck, just talk about how excited you are to get things rolling at this point.
At this point, it's very exciting to get back out there. You know, you've been working all season, and when it's football time, it's football time. So it's exciting to get back out there.
Do you feel like after a year like last year that the defense really has something to prove? Do you really want to get back to where you guys were before?
I feel like the past is the past, and now we're just moving forward, and we're trying to be the best that we can be this year. You know, we set standards for ourselves, and we're gonna go do everything we can to reach them.
Hey, Chuck. Terrell talked about just how important you've been in his development. Talk a little bit about how you've helped him out back there and kind of, guided him.
Well, I mean, I feel like it's as an older player with more experience, it's your job, you know, to bring along the younger guys. You know, coming in my freshman year, I had seniors, Anton Exum, Kyle Fuller, Dietrich Bonner, Kashawn Jerod. Those guys, you know, they brought me along. So why not bring someone else along and bring up the standard? You know, here playing defensive back at Virginia Tech, it's a lot on your shoulders, but you know, to bring someone else along, it's about it. That's all it's about.
Going into your senior season, how have you improved your game this offseason, and what have you done to personally step up going into this last year?
Personally, I've just tried to block everything out. You know, I'm trying to buy into everything that the coach is saying, what he's trying to bring in. You know, buy into his system. You know, it's different for me. It's different for everyone else. You know, so just buying into something different. And, you know, going out there and having a good season with the team, and then whatever happens with me happens.
Anybody else for Chuck? All right, you're good, sir. Thank you.
Coach said he was most impressed by the offensive line unit and credit a couple of you guys for really, paving the way and talking about leadership and getting guys to buy in. Can you kind of give us the genesis of where that came from with, a new regime coming in, but, all right, buy in and let's get behind this?
Well, I mean, usually for me to buy in is not very hard. If I like what you're saying and what you're saying makes sense to me, I'm usually pretty easy to get to buy in. I'll jump in feet first. So, but some of the other guys, especially some of the younger guys who don't know how I guess college football works, which is typical of younger guys, some of them it took them a little bit longer. We had to kind of pull them along, and to be honest, we're still working on it. Still trying to get everybody to buy in 100%. But it's definitely been a process. Some of the younger guys have been harder than others to pull along, but we're working on it. We're getting there.
Two questions, one based off what you just said. How does college football work? And second, when you're running plays so quickly, do you have to know the offense so well that you're not even thinking about what you're doing? You just hear the play call and go do your assignment?
Well, for the first question, the biggest difference between high school and college football, high school football is more just kind of, I don't want to say it's just kind of something you do or a hobby that you do on the side, but it's not nearly as intense or time consuming as college football. When you come to play college football, that's your job. A lot of people don't think that college athletes should be paid as much as they should and whatnot, but I mean it's a job. I mean there's no doubt about it. And the amount of time it takes up from your schedule, it's like going to school full time and then also having a full time job. That's about what it is. So I feel like that's the biggest difference, is just having the mental maturity to approach every day with a blue collar attitude. Come in, get your work done, get everything you can out of it, and take care of everything else off the field. it definitely takes a very mature frame of mind in order to play college football, and that was what I was talking about with younger guys transitioning into how college football works. Because I mean, there's no program in the country that's going to be successful without looking at practice and schedule and meetings and lifting and everything like that as a job. So, and then the second question, yeah, obviously you have to know the offense really well, because there can't be any room for hesitation when it comes to knowing what to do on every play. And obviously Gallo does a really good job of getting everybody on the same page. But yeah, I mean, there hasn't been a whole lot of dilemma with knowing plays and stuff like that, just because we go through them so much. I mean, we run plays every day. I mean, you just go over them and over and over and over again. Until, I mean, if you're out on the field at this point, coming through spring ball, and then halfway through or almost halfway through fall camp, and you're still asking yourself what to do on certain plays, you're doing something wrong, just because we go over them so much.
Anybody else for Augie? Yeah.
I have read several people say Coach Fuente has his way of getting his points across. Have you seen him get his points across, and what is his way of getting those points across?
Most definitely. It depends on what point it is, but I feel like one of his big ones is you got to come in and get everything, or you got to get as much as possible out of every day. You can't just come into practice and clock watch, as he calls it, just kind of punch the clock and just go through the motions. You gotta get as much out of every day of practice and in drills and stuff as possible, or else it's just gonna make your life a lot more difficult if you don't. So we've kind of learned that since Coach Fuente has been here. We definitely learned it the hard way, but we definitely learned it. But he does. I mean, if he says something, you can pretty much count on it being fact. So. I think everyone's pretty much gotten that by now, that there's nothing that comes out of his mouth that's just it's not true. So the hard way is usually up downs after practice, and trust me, coming out of practice, up downs is the last thing you want to do.
All right, thanks, Augie.
But it hasn't really slowed me down. But I've noticed a big difference in the run game. You know, I'm making bigger dent in the line of scrimmage. You know, and making more plays in the backfield. So it's paid off tremendously, and I'm really happy where I'm at right now. Awesome.
Did I turn it on? What how important is it to keep? I mean, I know you've talked about this before, but how important is it that Coach Foster is still here?
It's pretty. I mean, it was pretty big for me and a lot of the defensive guys. You know, Coach Foster recruited me, and it was. I mean, and Coach Wiles is my position coach. So having both of those guys here, and you know, just finish out my college career with them is pretty big. And you know, not much has really changed for me besides a few periods during practice. You know, we still have the same individual periods and like going over the same drills and stuff. So it's a lot of the same. So I'm very blessed to be in this position I am right now. Just having those two coaches, my recruiting coach, my defense coordinator, and my defense line coach.
You know, a common thing we're talking about is this up-tempo offense. How is that affecting you and the line as a whole, going against these up-tempo offense, preparing for teams like North Carolina and Syracuse?
Well, I think it's definitely getting our team a lot better all around. You know, it's getting us better, it's more in shape, and, you know, just getting, you know, like during practice, we're calling plays every 15 seconds. So it's just getting us really in shape and, you know, preparing us for the offenses like you said, you know, and just, you know, it's getting the calls and communicating, make sure everybody's on the same page, like in like a short amount of time. So I think it's going to do wonders for us come fall time.
How are the young guys coming along on the defensive line? Obviously, you guys are going to need some depth. So, what about some of those younger redshirt freshmen on the roster?
I think they've been doing really well. Obviously, there's Big Tim Settle. There's Trayvon Hill. Ricky Walker has been having a great fall. Great camp. There's a lot of young guys, all coming along. A lot of them are really maturing and coming in their own. So, I've been very proud of them. And they've been taking coaching really well and they've been matured at pretty fast. So, I expect a lot of big things out of them come fall time.
Isaiah, what do you feel is the biggest thing you've learned in this offense so far, and kind of compare it to last year's offense with this year's offense?
The tempo of everything, and how that going fast, and it can really be an advantage for us, and to help us to be able to go fast and to be able to create some tension for the defense when they're tired and we're just getting going.
Along those lines, Isaiah, what has been the biggest adjustment for you with the faster tempo? Is it more a matter of conditioning, or is it just picking up the plays and such faster? What have been the adjustments?
A little bit of both. We had to be in better condition from every position, the quarterbacks to the skill positions to the offensive linemen, because we all have to be set and we all want to go fast. So I think the conditioning was a big difference, and I think that our strength and conditioning staff did a great job of preparing us for that and picking up the signals. We ran signals. We signaled in plays last year, so there wasn't too much of an adjustment there.
Isaiah, you hit a couple milestones last year with 1,000 yards, double-digit touchdowns. Do you set specific goals like that for yourself in terms of catches or yards or touchdowns? Are you a guy that likes to do that?
I think as I mature and get older, it's just about being the best teammate I can be and being the best individual that I can be to help my teammates win. So I think my main focus this offseason was not about any accolades or anything like that, just to perfect my craft as much as I can and get bigger and stronger to help my teammates win ball games. I think from freshman year to now, I've matured a lot, and coming in as a freshman, everyone wants to have those type of goals and things like that. So yeah.
We obviously know about you and Cam. Give me one or two other guys at wide receiver who've stood out so far in camp, and what do you like about those guys?
All of the younger guys have really stepped up, and I think it's amazing to see how much that Eric Kuma, Devon Diablo, Sam Denmark, the three guys that came in January, to see how they've shaped and formed and how more comfortable they are now than when they were in January, and they've come a long way. And then Phil Patterson, Henry Murphy, Kevin Henry, those are three guys that came in July, and they look really well. They all picked up the playbook really fast, and I feel really confident in our receiver group.
Isaiah, earlier up on the podium, Brenden was talking about how he just always wanted to be a Tech kid, being local, and how he's persevered through the 5 years. Is there a certain amount of respect that gains him in the locker room, the fact that he didn't bail and that he stuck through it?
Definitely. Everyone loves Brenden. Everyone loves and respects him, and they've seen the adversity that he's gone through, the injuries, and like you said, the sitting behind and waiting his turn, and now he's getting the opportunity, and I think he's taking advantage of it, and he's trying to do his best to win the job.
Anyone else for Isaiah in the back? John?
Hey, Isaiah, are you a lot heavier than you were last year? And just physically, how do you feel? Are you as quick? Do you feel stronger to handle the rigors of what's coming?
I think at the beginning of the season, I was around maybe like 189 to 190 last year. But as the season went on, it dropped tremendously, and now I'm about 195. So I'm pretty heavier, but I feel more explosive. I feel faster, stronger, bigger than I ever felt. So I think that'll help me out. I think he's next.
Isaiah, football is football, but have you seen any differences between this year and the past couple of years in the approach? And are there any main differences that you've seen Coach Fuente take that just feel different?
I think the biggest difference is the players. Honestly, I think that we're all buying into everything, and like you said, football is football. Whether we're running a wing tee offense or a spread offense, anything, we still got to go out there and execute the plays, and I think it's just a matter of us going out and executing.
Isaiah, are you eager to learn who your starting quarterback is going to be sooner rather than later?
I think whenever Coach Fuente decides to announce that, I think that that'll be the right time.
Hey, Bucky, at the ACC media meetings, Coach Fuente was talking about the differences between Memphis and Virginia Tech, and he was saying that at Memphis we never had anyone like Bucky Hodges, and I know he's a better person to answer that, but what is it that you do differently that, say, other tight ends and receivers don't do?
Just go out. I play every play like it's my last. I mean, I could do a lot of different things, bring a lot of the different challenges for defenses. I don't know. I mean, I think Coach Fuente for those words, but I don't know.
Are they asking you to do things any differently this year than you've done in past years? Any different routes, any different assignments, any more emphasis on blocking, anything like that?
I gotta leave that one up to Coach. I'm not gonna know in detail until the season starts. So I have to leave that one up to Coach.
Bucky, someone who's not affiliated with Virginia Tech, when they heard that Justin Fuente had been hired here, said Bucky Hodges is the one person I think will benefit most from the Fuente offense. How much do you like this faster pace, and has it been an adjustment at all for you?
I like the faster pace a lot. It creates a lot of mismatches for the teams we can play against. Just the tempo is just very different from previous years when I was here. The play calling is just, it's like plays I haven't seen before, and I'm just looking forward to this season.
Anybody in the back for Bucky? Paul?
Bucky, what's different about the play calling that you haven't seen before?
It's just different terminology from the previous offense. I'm not saying anything was bad about the offensive coordinator for our previous one. I love him to death. It's just, like I said, different terminology, different. It's up tempo. It's very, very fast paced. It's just something we haven't done here at Virginia Tech, and I'm looking forward to it.
John, it seems like every press conference, Coach is singing you and Augie praises on your leadership. What are you doing in the locker rooms to motivate these young guys?
Well, this is our last year, so it's very important that we get the young guys, going. This is our last chance at, championships in our last season, so it's very important that we bring leadership into the locker room.
I know there are all these questions about offense, but for you, having another year, having 1 year in the defense, jumping in this year, how's the adjustment period been this season compared to where you were 365 days ago?
Just feel a lot more in shape. And like you said, just I feel better, more familiar with the playbook and stuff like that. So.
Come on, you raise your hand. You ask him a question. Yeah, now wait for the mic. Wait for the mic.
Just wanted to ask you personally, like, what's the biggest difference from last summer and this summer?
Really, we kind of attacked it a lot this summer, really, with running and stuff like that, conditioning and lifting. Feel a lot more in shape. I mean, you guys, the whole team, for real.
What's your favorite cereal?
I like Apple Jacks a lot.
Favorite superhero?
Flash.
Oh, that's a good one. And last one for me. What's your favorite movie?
Favorite movie? I'm gonna have to go with Lion King.
I have a question for you.
What's up, 71?
Mr. Andrew. Could you explain how was the hair process and why'd you cut it?
So it kind of was like a deal with this guy named Jonathan McLaughlin. He kind of said, you know, if he loses or if he gains this amount of weight, and then I'll cut my hair. So that's kind of how it was.
So are you getting more compliments because you cut your hair, or did you like your old hair? And is that hair in a Ziploc bag somewhere?
Yeah. It's in a Ziploc bag somewhere. I don't know where. Thanks for your question.
Two-part question. Bud said this defense will be same, but will also have changes. What changes have you noticed? And two, exactly what brought on this bet for you to cut your hair? And how much weight did he have to gain to put on for you to cut the hair?
The first question. I'm not exactly sure what changed really. Our mindset is still the same. We're still attacking it the same. Still have the same expectations. And I was kind of just playing around with the little bet thing. I just kind of was ready for a new look, so.
Jerod, finally it's starting to settle in that you're now here at Virginia Tech. You know, I've learned already in the last few weeks you're one of your hardest critics. How would you rate your practice and where you are now? I mean, what type of grade would you give yourself?
That's hard to determine. I'm just trying to get better every single day. Being a perfectionist, that's what perfectionists do, so I'm just trying to get better every single day. My team is trying to get better every single day. Get ready. We're still in count.
Jerod, do you get the sense that whoever doesn't win this job this fall will still be a very valuable asset to this team? Like, it seems like, at least around here, the backup quarterback has been a pretty important piece of the puzzle by the time it's all said and done.
No doubt. I mean, quarterback position is very important. And with that being said, the team looks at everybody at that position to see if we're a unit. And Coach Conte preaches team first. So for sure, I do believe that that is a very important role.
Jerod, what have you seen from Josh Jackson so far? I mean, obviously, is he still in that group with you guys, or is he still learning and progressing so far in his freshman season?
I think the quarterback as a whole, the quarterback team, I call us a team, is growing up and maturing. Again, we have a long way to go. We have a lot to learn. We still having things that we need to work on as a group, but everybody is definitely moving in the right direction.
What's Coach Cornelison like to work with? His personality, what's he like on the field, and then what's he like when you're in the meeting rooms?
He's the same guy on and off the field. Great guy, calm, cool, collective.
Line pretty well determines what you can do in the backfield. So have you been able to develop a relationship with your offensive line to know the guys and be friends with them and all?
Could you repeat that question again? I couldn't hear you all the way.
Your offense,
Uh-huh.
your offensive line is what keeps you safe and gives you enough time to do what you need to do. Is this offensive line, have you been able to get a chemistry with them and kind of bond?
Most definitely, but they're not the only one that I've been bonding with. I've been bonding with the whole team. They're not the only one that I have to get accustomed to, but for sure, they definitely are a main part that I do need to get accustomed to, and I'm still doing that to this day.
You talked about wanting to improve your game. Any particular area that you feel like needs the most improvement in your game?
All facets of it. I mean, mentally, physically, emotionally. As a human being, you want to perfect yourself in all aspects of life. So that's what I want to do as a football player, but to understand and obtain the stage, but in general, the whole thing.
Just with the path that you've taken now that you're here at Virginia Tech, how much do you want to prove now that you're a Hokie?
Say that again?
Just with the path that you've taken, what do you want to prove now that you're here?
What do I want to improve on?
What do you want to prove?
Prove nothing that there's nothing in particular I want to prove. I just want to show my team that I'm team first. Like again, that Coach Fuente is preaching to us, and be a great teammate.
Jerod, we hear the coaches talk about making the jump, going from junior college to Division I. What's the biggest difference in your mind making that leap?
That's a great question, but it's more of just got to get. I'm more of trying to get the team and understanding the team more than that improving myself as a player and individual.
Jerod, when you talk about that bonding with the whole team, and that's your goal, can that happen exclusively on the field, or do you have to go play video games with them or go to dinners with them? I mean, how do you, in such a short amount of time, really get yourself to be a part of the whole here?
Not really. I'm with the guys 24/7, especially with camp, so it's not really that hard.
Jerod, after working with us with this offense and going through film and seeing everything and that kind of goes with it, what in your mind is the most, I don't want to say dangerous part, but what's the biggest threatening part, I guess, of this offense you feel like that you guys have this year?
I don't get the question.
What do you feel like is the biggest threat for this offense? Like, what if teams are scouting you? What's the biggest thing you feel like that you guys can really do a lot of damage with? Person or scheme? What part of the offense?
We have a great defense. I mean, our defense, as you know, is been a staple of this Virginia Tech football for many years. So we're just trying to improve on offense, get better each and every day. That's what camp is for. Camp is here for us to get on our P's and Q's and make sure that we are more detailed than where we at and just keep progressing throughout camp and eventually get ready for Liberty that's coming up soon.
Hey, Mont, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you, man?
Earlier in the week, you talked about you're finally healthy. You're 100%. You feel like and playing, and your body and everything is. I mean, how excited does that make you feel? I mean, this is the first time going into fall that you haven't had a nagging injury of some type.
It's been a while, man. So now that my body does feel good, I feel ready to go. I'm excited about what we got out here on the field. We got a lot of special guys out here. Got a lot of team chemistry. And we're excited about what we got going on.
Brenden, when you look back at the lessons of last year, getting thrown in there and everything, what did you get out of all of that, and how much more prepared are you this year for an assignment?
It's a learning experience, man. Just like anything else you do. If you get thrown into the fire, you might make some things happen, but you're also going to learn a lot from what you go through. So just like anything else in life, it was great learning. There's a lot I could take out of it, and there's a lot of things that I still use today from it. So,
Brenden, you played at Christiansburg, and you played pretty well up tempo. You ran through. Do you feel like you have a good fit for this offense?
Yeah, I do. The transition from high school is a little different. We ran the wing T. So when I got to college, I had to learn basically how to drop back. I didn't know how to drop back at all. So my 4 or 5 years here, I've learned a lot, and I feel like I am fit.
Brenden, we know obviously Ford and Phillips and some of the other guys. In terms of the wide receivers, who do you like that maybe we don't know about? Who has impressed you so far this preseason?
I like them all. I love them all. We worked hard all summer long, all spring long. We worked hard with all of them, and we got a lot of special guys out there. And hopefully they can have some really breakout seasons. I like them all.
Guys, we also have some other players available if you want them for breakouts. Go ahead, David.
Brenden, much has been made of the pace that Coach Fuente wants to run the offense compared to your previous years at Virginia Tech. How much quicker is it, and how much of an adjustment is it for you guys, especially the quarterbacks?
It's quick. It is very quick. You got to get your eyes to the sideline. You got to see the play. The big thing that we focused on was just getting in shape. It's different, and Coach Hilgard and his staff, they did a great job this summer of kicking our butt and getting us in shape. So.
Brenden, this is your 5th year here, and it seems like these days guys will up and leave pretty quickly if they don't get a starting position or something like that. You've been through 3 coaching staff. Did it ever cross your mind to consider going anywhere else, or did you want to be a Virginia Tech guy all the way?
I wanted to be a Hokie, man. This is just, since I was a kid in high school, man, it's just a thought of just being a Hokie. I didn't want to, obviously I could have got up, left, ran away because my coach wasn't there anymore, but I kind of, hold myself to loyalty and, staying with what I believe in, fighting. It's not always going to be easy. I don't want it to be easy. If it was easy, everybody would do it. So, I just wanted to stay and fight and then hopefully get my opportunity when it comes. So.
Got Brandon Faison and Vinny Mahata over there as well, guys.
Brenden, I asked Jerod this too, but do you get the sense that whoever doesn't win the job, whether it's you or him, is going to be a pretty important part of this team, regardless, just based on your experience?
Yeah. It'll be a big job for whoever gets it, and then the guy behind you, you just gotta support, man. You can't be down in the dumps and whatnot. You gotta support and support your teammates that are out there on the field, regardless. So. I always say you got to pass positive energy wherever you are on the field.
Defense get tired, so that you just can push that much more and get them on their heels like that. I think it gives us an advantage in a way. So, I definitely like going fast.
Sam, Coach Fuente was talking, I guess, a couple weeks ago about Trayvon and how during the spring he was hurt, he wasn't 100%, and he just didn't quite look like himself or the guy that he expected to see anyway. But he complimented him, said he was playing better and practicing better at that point. Have you seen, just in your observations, a different kind of Trayvon from the spring, and how so?
Yeah, I think he's doing really well. I think all the running backs are getting after it right now. It's fun to work with them and compete with them, so I'm excited to continue to do that.
Sam, what's the biggest thing you feel like you've learned from the offense this year?
Hopefully everything is the biggest thing. I mean, you just want to get the details of the offense down. The biggest thing is just, I mean, I've told people this before, schemes in general, for the most part, offensive schemes, you're going to have similar plays. You're going to have similar blocking schemes and things like that. It's just learning the terminology and learning what we call certain things as opposed to what we called it before. And obviously there's a different philosophy in the tempo that we go at and the pace that we go at. So just getting adjusted to that has been the biggest thing for me.
Sam, do you see yourself as a leader on the team?
I think there's a lot of really good leaders on this team. I'm excited that and honored that some people look to me as a leader, but it's not like I'm the only leader. There's tons of other great leaders on this team, and I'm happy to be a part of this team and be considered as a leader.
Sam, will the offensive product that fans see on the field this year be much different than what they're used to?
So could you expand on that? What do you mean by that?
What you guys do offensively, your biggest threats, what kind of carries the offense, is that going to change much from last year?
For the most part, that's probably a better question for Coach Fuente, as far as what we're actually doing and things like that. But we're gonna try to. I know he's gonna try to get his best players on the field any way he can, and just need a lot of depth and a lot of help from everyone. So.
Anything else for Sam? Going once. In the back.
Sam, I guess just how excited are you guys to get this thing underway with all the buildup that's been, new coach, new things, new system? How excited are you to actually put the product out on the field?
We can't wait. We're excited just to continue to work tomorrow when we get back after it, and just take it one day at a time. We can't wait to get out there, play Liberty at home, and just get that season opener underway. And we just can't wait. We're really excited to get out there and just compete. So that's what we're ready for.
Anybody else?
That dude in the back.
All right, you're good, Sam. Thank you.
He had one back there.
Oh.
Sam, you've been around through enough teams and all. How do you rate this team? Is this team got great potential? Is it already there? Is it going to be better than a year ago? What do you think?
I'm not really into kind of making comparisons and all that, but I know that we're going to be a really tough team, and we're going to play hard, smart, tough, and that's our goal. So we're going to continue to work to be that kind of team and shape that identity every day, and it starts again tomorrow.
Joey, coaches have different ways of putting pressure on kickers during practice. Like Bill Parcells used to walk across to the spot where the ball was going to be put down. What have there been any things like that done here for you to get you ready for the pressure you're going to face?
I mean, I take every kick about the same. So the pressure of the situation never really gets to me. One of my kicking coaches, though, he used to throw keys at me when I'd be actually approaching the ball. So things like that has got me prepared for the situations that I'm going to entail during the season. No one here is throwing keys at me right now.
Norm.
You're good, I can hear you.
You guys seem to have a real shortage of punters, obviously. I understand you've been doing some punting. It's probably nothing new to you. You've probably done it in the past, but how long has it been since you've done it sort of on a regular basis? Did you do it as a senior in high school, and are you still working a little bit at punter?
Yeah, I punted in high school. I punted for the 2 years I started on the varsity squad. So, and I mean, it's just something that I've been always joking around and working on with AJ last year and stuff like that. So, I know technique-wise how to punt and stuff like that, but I'm trying to make sure if the team ever needs me in the situation that I can step in.
Working at punter other than, I guess, Mitchell and
Me, Mitch, and the new kid Brian Johnson. He's also punting.
Brian Johnson.
Yeah, he's a walk-on freshman this year. Doing really, really well as well.
Thank you.
No problem.
Andy?
So as a kicker, you obviously don't get excused from the weightlifting sessions. Is that right?
No, I'm actually one of the first ones in there and the last ones to leave. So that's my favorite part of the whole off season.
What kind of goals did you have for this year? I mean, in terms of strength, does that help you for distance or anything like that, or is that about technique?
I mean, kicking's a lot of technique work. Strength does come into it. The more weight you have going through the ball, the better projection you're going to get downfield and all that stuff. Something also with this new coaching staff, I've been working a lot with Coach Crosby with a lot of my flexibility and stuff like that, so that I'm making sure that I stay healthy throughout the season and make sure that all of my the areas that might be weaker in my kicking game I can make stronger. It's been great working with the coaching staff here now.